So thank you everybody today for coming out. My name is Hannah Carroll, and today I will be giving you information regarding the virus HIV and AIDS. By the end of my speech, I hope you guys would have a better understanding of what the virus is. When I had first started my career in the medical field, we had assigned readings on HIV and AIDS. And it always interested me. I don't know why, but I was just I had heard of AIDS before, but I didn't actually know what it did to the body and how it affected the immune system. But the deeper I got into it, the more I wanted to learn, the more I wanted to talk about it because it interested me. Even on my off time, I would look into HIV and AIDS and kind of the effects of the virus. Okay, so first it starts with HIV and AIDS. I did not know the acronyms before. Have any of you, do you guys know what the acronyms are?
I do not.
Okay, so HIV is human immunodeficiency virus, and then AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So the difference between the two, HIV starts by attacking your CD4 cells, and your CD4 cells are what stimulate your immune system cells. And then it takes about 8 to 10 years for HIV to develop into AIDS without further treatment. But once it does progress to AIDS, your immune system has already been compromised and your immune system is severely damaged. So you would not be able to fight off typical sicknesses and illnesses that the average person would because your immune system is not working effectively and it is lacking the immune cells that the average person would have. So the average person has the cell count for CD4 ranges from 500 to 1600. A person who has AIDS, it is 200 or fewer. And that is one of the common ways that they would diagnose you with AIDS. Another reason would be if you have a serious infection or if you have a serious cancer, would be an indication that you have AIDS because your immune system is not acting properly. But the most common way that HIV does occur is through sex. It doesn't matter if it's oral, anal, vaginal, or I said anal, yeah. It doesn't matter if it's any of those ways, so that's why it's important to practice safe sex. Another way is through syringes. I'm sure a lot of people have heard that sharing drug needles is typically the way, but it's important that you never use drug needles that somebody else had used, whether you have a bloodborne disease or not. It's just not safe. And then the third way, it's not common, but it does still happen, is through mother through child through birth. Typically a hospital will run a lot of tests on you before you have the baby to make sure that you are clean from any viruses or infection because they do not want the mother to pass on any illness or disease to the baby. But what are the ways that it doesn't progress? It's important to remember that HIV is not a contact or airborne precaution. It is strictly a bloodborne. So that means that the organisms of HIV lives in the blood supply. So what that means is that you cannot pass it just through kissing or strict contact. It has to be from blood, vaginal secretion, semen, anal secretion, or breast milk. Those are the ways that it can spread. And there is no cure for HIV or AIDS right now, but you can live with HIV. You just have to take PrEP, and you also have to take the medication that the doctor recommends. Otherwise, once you have AIDS, it is lethal, and you will get a sickness that you will pass from. So just by the end of this speech, I hope you guys do have a better understanding of what HIV and AIDS is. I think it's important too to know that you're clean because a lot of people like to do blood transfusions or donate blood, and it's important that you do not have HIV because if you do, it's a very good thing to donate blood. But if you are not aware of your current health status, you could be really jeopardizing the health of an individual. By thinking you're doing something good, you could really jeopardize their health and their future because HIV, their symptoms are typically just flu symptoms at first. It's just like a fever, common chills, fatigue. And then after that, until it progresses to AIDS, you don't have any symptoms. You're asymptomatic. So that's why it's important to know what your status is on STIs or STDs. So after today, I hope you guys do have a better understanding of what HIV and AIDS is. I hope you guys do not come into contact with it or contract it yourself, but if you guys were to ever do it, I hope you guys could take something today from today's speech. And again, thank you all for coming out. And my references and my sources I used today, I used mayoclinic.org, and I also used the cdc.org. And then I used a Southeast Community College database article that was regarding AIDS. And thank you all again.